And this is what makes fighting games, like when you're trying to improve, and this is where things get hard. It gets really hard because you have to keep in mind where everything is. Yo, what is good, guys? We are back today, and we're going to talk about the neutral of fighting games. We're going to make it very easy for people, and this is just a nice way of kind of talking about what is, what's the neutral, right? What's footsie? I feel like this is something that is really cool to talk about, and this is going to level up your game. So if you want to really learn about what is going on the screen, and especially while you're fighting, we're going to go ahead and talk about a few examples of fighting games. Before we jump into it, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Let me know how you guys feel, and let's get to the video right now. Alright guys. The neutral, the thing that we are all afraid of. And this is only for like this game, right? So obviously there are different characters that play different roles in multiple games, but in these two characters in particular, they play a lot what we like to call Zone 1 and Zone 2. So this is Zone 1. This is the center. That's where everybody is basically scrambling. If you're not on the offense, it is a scramble. Zone 1 is basically like you're brawling, you're fighting. Your goal in Zone 1 is to win the reward, right? 9 times out of 10, you're going to be thinking to yourself, oh man, I just want to try to throw some out. Hopefully it works, right? That's where Zone 1 is kind of like played. The main goal, honestly, is to be here. You want to be Zone 2 right here. So this is the second zone. This video is sponsored by Crunchyroll Games and Street Fighter Duel. Yo, so before we continue on this video, let's talk about the Street Fighter Duel. Street Fighter Duel is the official Street Fighter game for casuals and fans alike. You can collect and upgrade your own fighters. You can play through story mode, and guess what? You can also play with your friends. You don't even have to just play against other players. You can at least enjoy the story that Street Fighter Duel is going to showcase to us. So make sure you guys click in the description below and play your iconic character on the go. Let's continue on to the video. This is the position where you can sort of react to a lot of situations. You can't react to everything. These are the position that you're going to be where you can kind of respond to like 2 of the 3 options of the rock, paper, scissors that everybody calls. One is jump. The other one is either counter poking, and the one that you're probably not going to respond to well is the run up throw. If you look for the jump and you look for them to run up, then you lose, you throw your focus away from like trying to like whiff punish and things like that. This is where things get really interesting. This game is heavily in Zone 1 and Zone 2, and we're going to see this from this match, right? So you see how close that they're fighting all the time? They're always fighting in those same ranges, right? So in this situation where, that's why, a lot of people will feel like, oh man, things is a bit random. Because in this game, you're fighting always in Zone 1 and Zone 2, which is so hard to, mitigate a lot of things and the factors. Because obviously there's not a lot of movement and things like that. So that's why you hear a lot of people say, oh man, it feels random. But, in the reality of things, like, some games are just designed like that. And this game naturally is designed where you're always fighting in front of your opponent's face. So the way I look at zones, and this is a very simple way of looking at things. Zone 2, you can react to 2 options. Zone 1, you can react to basically 1 option. This is where things are very, very, in this game we'll call volatile, right? Very dangerous situation here. We're going to talk about another game. This game, where a lot of the Zone 3s is going to be very prominent, right? So like right here, you see that? So they're going to be playing like in those, and they're going to be fighting around, right? And once you kind of win the interaction that happens, then you have the almighty Zone 1. Obviously, you're keeping the pressure, but everything goes to Zone 2, Zone 1, things like that, right? Because he's in the corner, obviously you're able to like push up. But most fights it's like, Zone 2 into Zone 3. You'll see a lot of like Zone 3. And this is all like different games and things like that, right? But obviously once you kind of win the interaction here, it becomes like every game, right? Up close. Now it just varies of like all the defensive options for each character and things like that. Obviously when you hold the corner, it becomes a different game. This is pretty cool. Oh, drop. Wow, what a mix-up. Man, I gotta love this. I gotta say, I missed this game. again, you can see even from this interaction right here, which is really a really thing that we don't get a chance to see all the time. But even from that range, from the fight, they fought a lot from the third range. Got the straight hit and was able to at least close the gap and was able to, like, you know, start the offense, which is, you know, once you kind of get into zone one, your whole goal. So both players have different objectives, right? Zone one on the offensive, your goal is to smother your opponent, right? And then for zone one as a defender, your goal is to get out to zone two and zone three, the fastest and the most effective way possible. If you get hit in zone one, you failed the mission between here, right? So this is between zone 3, zone 2. They can cover more and respond to more options naturally because of the range and, like, the things that you can, like, intercept, right? So jumping becomes a little bit more weaker from this range. Obviously, if the player is, like, covering that, which, as you can see the jump, you can see that he responded with a jump as well. So obviously, you know, he's jumping up here to, like, shut down. This character and Yuta already kind of did, like, an attack, covering this right here. And now you're about to see some crazy ass action. And got smoked. When you have your opponent in the corner, and you know, you can kind of back up. You can kind of back up as far as you want. And, like, this is the position that I call. Not every character plays it, but this is like the zone. Like zone 4, right? You know, you could kind of, like, do whatever you want to do here, depending on the character. Depending on where you are, you only can move up, and this character can kind of move from, like, 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. You only can kind of, you're on 4, so you kind of have to go to 3, 2 to 1, depending on the situation here. It's kind of like you're safe, right? Most character archetypes don't really have a move that can, like, attack you, like, quickly and, like, get stuff going, right? Worst case scenario, throw a fireball. But the things about it from this range, there's nothing to look for outside of, like, something attacking you or somebody jumping. So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, the further you are, the less options that you have to deal with. And this is what makes fighting games, like, when you're trying to improve, this is where things get hard. It gets really hard because you have to keep in mind everywhere of, like, where everything is. You have to, you know, keep in mind of, like, all the ranges and where you're at and, like, what you can do and the threat level of, like, each character, right? Let's say, for example, like, you fight a character that can fight in zone 4 so well. Your whole goal is to try to close from, like, 4 to, like, 2. Because then 2 becomes the range where, you know, that character has to kind of, like, commit to things and things like that. A lot of these, like, matches happen so fast that a lot of players don't realize, like, where the matches and where the effectiveness per character happens. And you can even see, like, right here, you see how, like, you know, Finrich he waited in zone 2, and you see how the person committed instantly from zone 3 to zone 2 or zone 1, right? They are at a very, very vulnerable situation, which was really good read on Finrich. Obviously, it could have been really worse, but this is worse than you get, right? Get, like, a little jab, you know. But it could have led into something crazy, and here we go. I think this person is dead, actually. Oh, no. Oh, yes. So there are going to be matchups where you're going to wait in the zone for them to commit or something in those lines. The whole goal is, like, when you're in certain ranges, you can't just wait. It's not really an effective way to just wait because you have to understand, like, their goal is the same. They have similar objectives than you do, right? So if you're going to just be, like, waiting, 2, they're just going to jump into 1. And then now you're in trouble, right? So because you gave them, you let them get 1 for free. And the way you shut that down, one of the things that you always want to have is you want to be very knowledgeable about the things that you're looking for. So, like, for example, like, if you play Soul, if you fight against Soul, you already know what Soul's going to do, right? They're always going to do run up forward slash. They're going to do, like, you know, all the other stuff that it's super cheap. If you're the aggressor, you have to see what your opponent is looking for, and use that opportunity to close in to one. The Strive Classic, because it's so strong, it's a strong option to do. Run up throw is that option that a lot of people are never looking for. Everybody's always looking for jump. Everybody's always looking for a button, right? A lot of people in range 2 will always do 6P preemptively, right? Because they're looking for you to throw a button out. And if you jump, guess what? The 6P also anti. But yeah, but like there are other games that are different too. Let's look at like Dragon Ball, for example. Dragon Ball is a very interesting one. We're gonna watch this match, and you can see instantly how fast things go from zone 4 to zone 1, right? Look at that, see? Instantly zone 4 into zone 1, right? Because when you're in this range, it's over. So you see that? 4 now. 1. Instantly. This is what I'm talking about right here. So obviously each game has like a different fundamental, right? Or like a different place of where you want to play. So even then, like, even right here, guys, like, instantly. Both players come in. Go from 4 to 1. Instantly. Instantly. Instantly from 1 to 4. 1, 4. You see that? 1, 4. Back. Instantly. But yeah, I hope you guys learned a couple of things, man. I truly believe that every game has zones. It just depends on how effective the zones are in the game. Fighting games is like a college, man. If you guys want me to do stuff like this more, just let me know. I could definitely talk about a lot of concept in fighting games naturally. I think one of the things to talk about is like strategies of like maintaining like the health lead, or strategies to maintain, you know, how to come back and things like that. Like, if there's things like that you want me to talk about, just let me know.